What happens when a beloved friend star sits down for what should have been a light-hearted morning chat, only to find herself ambushed, cornered, and pushed to her breaking point? Today, we're unpacking one of the most shocking confrontations in daytime television history, when Courteney Cox found herself forced to defend not just her career, but her integrity, her friendships, and her legacy against a barrage of accusations she never saw coming. This wasn't a celebrity interview gone awkward. This was a slow-motion implosion. A moment where charm, ego, and resentment collided in front of a stunned live audience. Stay tuned, because what happened on The View that morning left viewers questioning everything they thought they knew about live television and about the woman who made Monica Geller unforgettable. The mood in the View studio had been bright and easy at first. Courteney Cox walked in glowing, her trademark poise and warmth immediately lighting up the room. She was there to promote her latest project, and the energy was relaxed, friendly banter, laughter, and nostalgia about friends. Whoopi Goldberg, Sarah Haynes, and Alyssa Farah Griffin led the conversation smoothly, tossing light questions and exchanging smiles. It all felt perfectly normal. Until Joy Behar, who had been unusually quiet, suddenly leaned forward with a look that made the air tighten. "You know, Courteney," Joy began, her tone deceptively casual, but her eyes sharp. "There's something I've been wondering for years." The audience stilled. Courteney smiled politely. "Sure," she said. Joy's voice hardened. "Don't you think it's a little convenient how you've managed to stay so relevant while some of your friends' co-stars have struggled?" The smile flickered. Courteney's posture stiffened slightly, her confusion visible. "I'm sorry. What do you mean by convenient?" Joy didn't hesitate. "Well, you've had one success after another. New shows, steady work, public favor. Meanwhile, others from the cast have battled addiction, money problems, even obscurity. It just seems like things have gone a lot easier for you." A quiet ripple of discomfort passed through the room. Whoopi shot Joy a sharp look, stepping in. "Joy, maybe we could focus on Courteney's new project." But Joy wasn't done. "No, I think this matters," she said, her tone rising. "Look at what happened with Matthew Perry. Look at the others. Don't you ever feel guilty sitting here still on top while they've gone through hell?" The tension was unbearable now. Courteney inhaled slowly, her professionalism visibly straining. Guilty? For what exactly? For working hard? For making choices that kept me grounded? I don't understand what you're implying." "I'm not implying anything," Joy snapped, leaning in further. "I'm asking if you've benefited from being the safe one, the one who played the game while others didn't." Silence. Total silence. Courteney's voice, when it came, was calm, but laced with steel. "Joy, I think you're misrepresenting all of us. Every member of that cast has faced challenges you don't know about. To suggest that I owe my success to anything but hard work, or that I should feel ashamed of it, that's not only unfair to me, it's disrespectful to them." Joy scoffed. "Oh, please, spare me the PR spin. We all know Hollywood has its hierarchy. Some people just learn how to play the game better. You've clearly mastered it." The words hit like a slap. For the first time, Courteney's composure cracked. Her hands tightened around the arms of her chair, her eyes locking onto Joy's with quiet fury. "Are you seriously suggesting," she said slowly, "that my success is some kind of manipulation? That I've coasted while my friends suffered? Because if that's the conversation you want to have, Joy, let's have it honestly." Joy met her stare without flinching. "I'm saying what everyone knows but won't say aloud. Some people get lucky, some people get protected, and some people know exactly which buttons to push to stay on top. You've been good at all three. That was the breaking point. The practiced, media-trained exterior fell away. What emerged wasn't the sitcom star or the celebrity. It was the woman underneath, raw, wounded, and ready to fight back. And in that instant, the entire room felt it was something real, something volatile, an unfiltered moment that no publicist could have prepared her for. Her voice, when she finally spoke, carried a quiet power that cut through the room like a blade. "You know what, Joy?" Courtney began, her tone measured but seething beneath the surface. "I've been sitting here trying to be polite, trying to give you the benefit of the doubt. I thought maybe you were just having a bad day. Or maybe there was an actual point you were trying to make. But now I see what this really is. This isn't about journalism or honesty or accountability. This is about you trying to tear down someone who's worked their entire life to build something meaningful." The studio froze. Whoopi's eyes flicked nervously between the two women, silently calculating whether to intervene, while Sarah and Alyssa sat rigid, clearly wishing they could vanish from their seats. Joy, sensing she'd crossed a line but unwilling to admit defeat, tried to regain control. "I'm just asking the questions that need to be asked," she said defensively. "Someone has to hold celebrities accountable for their privilege." Courtney's eyes narrowed. "Accountable for what exactly?" Her voice rose slightly, steady but charged. "For working consistently? For making smart career choices? For surrounding myself with good people? For staying out of tabloids? For keeping my private life private? Which of those things am I supposed to feel guilty about, Joy?" A flicker of red crept up Joy's neck. The attack wasn't landing the way she'd hoped, and she knew it. But instead of retreating, she doubled down. "Don't twist my words, Courtney. I'm talking about how this industry works. Some people get opportunities handed to them, while others have to fight for scraps. You've been lucky. Remarkably lucky." Courtney's expression hardened. The word hit her like a slap. "Lucky?" She repeated, her tone low and dangerous now. "You think my career is about luck?" The warmth in her voice vanished, replaced by the raw authority of someone who'd had enough. "Do you have any idea what it's like to audition hundreds of times before landing a role that changes your life? To work 18-hour days, 10 years straight? To memorize page after page of dialogue, hit every mark, every cue, while millions of people are watching, waiting for you to fail?" Joy waved a dismissive hand. "Oh, boo-hoo. You got paid millions to read lines on a TV show. Let's not pretend that's real hardship." A collective gasp rippled through the audience. Even the camera operator instinctively zoomed in, drawn to the crackling tension that filled the studio. Courtney's eyes flashed with fury. "You know what, Joy?" she said, her voice now trembling. "Not from fear, but from restraint. I've worked in this business for over 30 years. I've worked with crew members, producers, actors, people who put everything into what they do. And in all that time, I've never met anyone so openly disrespectful of the craft, or so eager to tear someone down for no reason." Joy's smirk faltered, but she refused to yield. "Maybe if you spent less time playing the victim and more time acknowledging your privilege, we could have an honest conversation." That was the breaking point. Courtney pushed back her chair and stood, the sound echoing like a gunshot. Her voice rose, resonant and unwavering. "Privilege? You want to talk about privilege, Joy? Let's really talk about it. You sit behind that desk every day, taking shots at people who can't fight back because they're trying to stay professional. You get to insult, accuse, and provoke without consequence, and call it journalism. You don't build anything. You feed on what other people build." The audience was frozen in stunned silence. Even Whoopi looked momentarily speechless. Joy opened her mouth, but no words came. Courtney didn't wait. "You asked your questions," she said coldly. "Now let me ask you some. When was the last time you created something that mattered? When was the last time you risked something? Your reputation, your comfort, anything. For the sake of art or honesty, When was the last time you built instead of tore down? Joy blinked rapidly, searching for a retort. I'm a comedian, she finally muttered. I comment on... You're a bully. Courtney cut in, her voice slicing through the air. You hide behind comedy or journalism or whatever label feels convenient that day. But what you really do is diminish people. You attack, you provoke, and you call it insight. And the worst part? You enjoy it. Silence. Absolute silence. Even the crew had stopped moving. The cameras were rolling, but no one dared breathe. For the first time in her long tenure on The View, Joy Behar looked genuinely shaken. That's completely unfair, she stammered. I'm doing my job. I ask tough questions. That's what journalists do. Courtney gave a short, sharp laugh, a sound devoid of humor. Tough questions? She said. Is that what you call this? Because from where I'm standing, it looks a lot more like character assassination. Because let me tell you something about tough questions, Joy, Courtney said, her tone sharpening like a blade drawn in silence. Tough questions are rooted in facts. They have purpose. They're meant to enlighten, to uncover something meaningful. Tough questions come from a place of curiosity, not cruelty. What you've been doing here today, she gestured subtly around the tent studio. That's not journalism. That's malice dressed up as professionalism. Joy blinked, clearly rattled, but tried to recover her footing. I think you're overreacting to some legitimate concerns. Stop! Courtney cut in firmly, raising a hand. Just stop. There's nothing legitimate about what you've done here today. You came into this interview with an agenda, to attack me. And when I didn't crumble, you pushed harder. But here's what you didn't count on. Her gaze locked onto Joy with icy precision. I didn't get where I am by being weak. I didn't survive in this business for 3 decades by letting bullies define me. The camera zoomed in, capturing every flicker of emotion across Courtney's face. Calm, defiance, authority. When she spoke again, her voice carried an almost regal composure. You want to talk about real privilege, she said. Real privilege is being able to sit in judgment of others without ever putting yourself on the line. Real privilege is having a national platform to say whatever you want without consequences. Real privilege, she added, her voice now a measured burn, is never having to create anything yourself, yet feeling entitled to destroy what others have built. Joy, visibly shaken but still clinging to her on-air persona, tried again. I think you're taking this way too personally, Courtney. This is just television. It's just conversation. No, Joy, Courtney replied, her tone dropping into something colder, deeper. An unshakable truth. This isn't just television. This isn't just conversation. This is you using your seat, your platform, to humiliate someone for sport. This is you trying to reduce 30 years of work into a headline. The audience was dead silent. You could almost hear the hum of the studio lights. Courtney took a breath, steady but searing. What you've done today isn't about curiosity or critique. It's about control. It's about power. And right now, you've shown everyone watching exactly who you are when you think you can get away with it. The atmosphere had shifted completely. The air felt thick, electric. Even Whoopi looked pale, eyes darting nervously toward the control booth. And then your Joy made her final, fatal mistake. You know what, Courtney? She snapped, her voice brittle with frustration. Maybe the reason you're so defensive is because deep down, you know I'm right. Maybe you know your success isn't really about talent. The words hit the studio like a gunshot. Gasps echoed through the audience. A producer audibly muttered, "Oh my God," off camera. Courtney froze. For several seconds she didn't move. She just stared at Joy, her expression unreadable. Shock, fury, disbelief, all flickering behind her eyes. When she finally spoke, her voice was quiet, but every syllable landed with devastating precision. Did you just question my talent? Joy swallowed hard but said nothing. Did you just sit here, On national television. Courtney continued, her voice rising just slightly, and suggest that 30 years of work, 10 years of friends, multiple successful projects, relationships, the respect of my peers, was all some kind of fluke? Joy's face went pale. I didn't mean, oh no. Courtney cut her off sharply. You meant exactly what you said. Because that's who you are, isn't it, Joy? That's your brand. Tear people down. Question their worth. Make them feel small so you can feel big. Her voice grew stronger with each word, building momentum like a storm cresting. But here's what you'll never understand, Courtney said, leaning slightly forward. Talent isn't something you can fake for 30 years. Success built on nothing doesn't last 3 decades. And the respect of your peers, that's earned, not manipulated. The other hosts were frozen in disbelief. Whoopi looked like she wanted to sink through the floor. Sarah covered her face with her hands. Alyssa stared into the desk, motionless. The audience didn't breathe. Cameras rolled in eerie silence, capturing what everyone knew would become a viral, career-defining moment. Courtney straightened, her voice now steady, resonant, unshakable. You want to know about my talent, Joy? She said, every word deliberate, every syllable cutting clean through the tension. My talent, Joy, Courtney said, her voice unwavering, is showing up every single day and doing the work. My talent is treating every person on every set with respect and professionalism. My talent is learning my lines, hitting my marks, finding the truth in every character I play, and making millions of people around the world feel something real. That's talent, Joy. That's what real talent looks like. Joy tried once more, her tone shaky but defiant. I just think people should be more honest about. Honest? Courtney's voice cracked through the studio like thunder. You want to talk about honesty? Let's be honest about what this really is. She took a step forward, her eyes locked on Joy. This isn't about my career or my success. It's not even about journalism. This is about you being threatened by someone who's built something lasting while you've spent your career tearing things down. It's about your own insecurities showing up as cruelty, your envy dressed up as integrity. The words cut through the air like a blade. The camera zoomed in on Courtney's face, calm, resolute, but burning with righteous fury. You sit behind that desk every day, protected by producers, lawyers, and a studio audience that props you up. She continued, you throw stones at people who are actually out there creating, building, contributing something positive to the world. And when someone finally stands up to you, when someone refuses to take it, you act shocked, offended, like you're the victim. Joy's face was ghostly pale now. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. The silence in the studio was total. Even the hum of the cameras seemed deafening. Courtney took another step closer to the desk, her presence radiating command. But here's the most honest thing I can tell you, Joy. Your opinion of me, your little attacks, your attempts to diminish my work, they mean absolutely nothing, because I know who I am. I know what I've accomplished. I know the relationships I've built, the lives I've touched, and the art I've created. And no amount of bitterness or insecurity from someone like you will ever change that. The pause that followed stretched like eternity. Then Courtney delivered the final blow. What's really sad here, Joy, she said softly, is that you had the chance to have a real conversation about the craft, the challenges, the evolution of this industry, the joy of storytelling, the privilege of reaching millions of people. You could have made this about respect and insight, but instead you revealed exactly who you are. And now, everyone watching knows it too. She turned to the camera, her expression serene, every word carrying the gravity of a lifetime earned through discipline and grace. To anyone watching, she said, who's ever been attacked for their success, who's ever been made to feel guilty for working hard and achieving their dreams. Don't let anyone dim your light. Don't let bullies make you apologize for being excellent. Then she turned back to Joy. Calm, composed, devastatingly precise. And Joy, she said, the next time you want to attack someone's life's work on national television, make sure it's someone who doesn't have the strength to fight back. Because today, you picked the wrong person. With that, Courtney gathered her purse, lifted her chin, and walked off the set. The audience sat frozen, every face reflecting the magnitude of what they had just witnessed. Joy Behar sat in silence, humbled, exposed, and utterly defeated. Courtney's words would echo long after she was gone. A reminder of what happens when grace, truth and strength meet arrogance and cruelty on live television. That's a wrap on this unforgettable moment. A masterclass in standing your ground and defending your worth. What did you think of Courtney's response to Joy's attacks? Was she justified in erupting the way she did? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more explosive celebrity moments you won't see anywhere else.